There are moments in life when your soul trembles beneath the weight of what it's been through. Moments when the night feels longer than your years, and every prayer feels swallowed by the silence of heaven. You have cried in secret places, behind locked doors, and smiled in public as if your heart wasn't cracking beneath the pressure of unseen battles. And yet, in the midst of that ache, in the middle of that breaking, something sacred was happening to you. Something divine was forming in your wounds. Because, chosen one, you were not being destroyed, you were being prepared. You were not being forgotten. You were being chosen for something oil can only anoint when it has first been pressed from the olive. The truth is, God cannot pour his oil through vessels that refuse to be broken. He cannot fill what is already full of itself. He cannot shine through what is too polished to reveal its cracks. So he allows the breaking, not to harm you, but to heal you differently. You see, it is through the shattered pieces that his light leaks out the brightest. Every tear that burned your cheek was not wasted. Every betrayal that made your heart question your worth was not in vain. Every time someone left you, mocked you, or misunderstood you, heaven recorded it. And while you thought the storm was meant to end you, it was only meant to cleanse you, so that the oil could flow without obstruction. You may not have known it then, but your breaking was holy. It was the sound of destiny rearranging itself around you. It was God saying, I'm making you new. Every crack in your soul became a channel for grace. Every scar became an altar of remembrance. Every dark valley you crawled through was saturated with his promise that you would rise again. Not as who you were, but as who you were always meant to be. The anointing that rests upon your life was never meant for the comfortable, the untested, or the untrained. It was meant for the ones who have tasted both the bitter and the sweet, and yet still choose to bless the name of the Lord. There is a beauty in your breaking that cannot be found in perfection. The world may praise those who seem untouched, but heaven admires the ones who have been torn apart and yet still whisper, "It is well with my soul." You are one of those souls. You are the one God trusted with pain, not as punishment, but as proof of your capacity to carry his power. You are the one he allowed to be emptied so that you could pour into others without running dry. You were never fragile, you were sacred. And your breaking was not your end, it was your awakening. Think about it, oil only comes from pressure. Gold is only refined through fire. Diamonds are born from deep, crushing weight. Why would your spirit's journey be any different? God looked at you and saw something rare, something strong enough to endure what others could not. He saw a vessel that could withstand the pressing and still sing. He saw a soul that could be stripped of everything and yet still worship. He saw in you what you could not yet see in yourself. A chosen one, refined by pain, destined to heal others through your very existence. The reason your heartbreak hurt so deeply is because your heart is deep. The reason your betrayal stung so sharply is because your loyalty was pure. The reason your loneliness felt unbearable is because your presence carries heaven's warmth. The enemy saw it too. He saw the oil before you did. He saw the glow that pain could not extinguish, and he tried to break you in ways that would make you doubt your own worth. But what he didn't know is that the God who made you also measured your endurance. He set boundaries around your suffering. He whispered to the storm, "You can shake her, but you cannot shatter her." And so, chosen one, when you broke, God caught every fragment. When you fell apart, he gathered you piece by piece, not to rebuild you the same, but to reshape you into something eternal. You were clay in his hands, and the pressure you felt was the artist molding you into a vessel fit for his oil. Every loss became a lesson. Every pain became a prophecy. Every tear became a testimony. You are not the same person you were before the storm, and that is precisely the point. Do you remember when you thought you couldn't survive? When the ache in your chest made it hard to breathe, when you questioned whether God was even listening? He was. He was closer than your own heartbeat. He was speaking in silence, saying, "Hold on, beloved. I am pouring something in you that cannot be taken away." That oil, the one that comes from pain, is the kind that makes your words carry weight, your presence bring peace, and your prayers break chains. That is why your journey had to be so intense. Because what you carry is not ordinary. You are not ordinary. Every chosen one has walked through a wilderness of breaking. Look at the prophets, the healers, the dreamers. Every one of them had to lose something before they found their calling. They had to be misunderstood before they could be multiplied. They had to be stripped before they could shine. You are walking that same sacred path. And though the road may be lonely, it is not in vain. Because your breaking is birthing something. The oil of God is flowing through your cracks. The same pain that once silenced you will one day become the power that sets others free. And I know, you're tired. You've been strong for so long that you've forgotten what rest feels like. You've carried everyone else's weight, and you've hidden your tears behind quiet smiles. But let me tell you, strength is not in never breaking. It is in breaking and still believing. It is in falling to your knees and still saying, God, I trust you. The chosen ones are not those who never weep, they are those who weep and rise anyway. They are those who walk through the fire and come out carrying flame, not ashes. You are that one. You are fire and oil in human form. You are the living evidence that pain can be transformed into power. So do not despise your brokenness. Do not curse the nights that made you cry. Every time your heart cracked, heaven was pouring something new inside you. Every heartbreak expanded your capacity for compassion. Every disappointment refined your discernment. Every rejection redirected you to a higher calling. The oil that flows through you now, the wisdom, the empathy, the strength, it could not have been purchased. It could only be produced, and the price was your pain. You see, when God chooses someone, He does not hand them comfort, He hands them calling. He does not promise ease, He promises purpose. And purpose requires pressing. You were pressed to make you precious. You were stretched to make you strong. You were emptied to make you eternal. Every time you thought God was breaking you, He was actually blessing you in disguise. The anointing that rests on your spirit was born in tears, baptized in endurance, and sealed with grace. So now, when you walk, walk with your head high. Not because you are unbroken, but because you are beautifully broken and gloriously filled. Let your scars speak. They are not signs of defeat, they are signatures of divine craftsmanship. Let your pain become your platform. Let your story remind others that even shattered vessels can overflow with glory. You are the testimony someone else needs to believe again. When the world sees your light, they may admire your shine but never understand your struggle. They'll see the oil but not the olive press. They'll see your grace but not your grief. They'll see your wisdom but not your wilderness. And that's all right. They don't have to understand it. Because your anointing was not meant for applause, it was meant for assignment. You were not chosen to be seen, you were chosen to serve. And sometimes, serving means bleeding quietly so others can heal loudly. Chosen one, do you realize how powerful you are? Do you know how many battles you've already won just by surviving? The devil thought your breaking would silence you forever, but instead it gave you a voice that carries heaven's echo. Your pain taught you compassion. Your loneliness taught you love. Your failures taught you faith. Every time you got back up, the heavens rejoiced, because each rise was a reminder that the oil was still flowing. Do not rush your healing. Do not despise your process. The same hands that broke you are the same hands that will anoint you. And when He does, you'll understand why you had to walk through the valley before reaching the mountaintop. You'll understand why doors had to close before new ones opened. You'll understand why you had to lose people you loved. Because not everyone can stand in the fragrance of the oil you now carry. Some people were part of your pain but not your purpose. Let them go, forgive them, bless them, and keep walking. There is a sound in your spirit now, a holy rhythm that says, I was pressed, but not crushed. I was struck down, but not destroyed. That is the rhythm of resurrection. You are living proof that even broken things can still sing. Even shattered souls can still shine. Even cracked vessels can still carry glory. You are what survival looks like in its purest form. Grace walking, love breathing, oil flowing. And when you stand before God someday, He won't ask you how polished you look to others. He will ask you how much oil you poured out. He will ask you if you loved through your pain, if you forgave through your tears, if you kept faith when faith was all you had left. And you, chosen one, will smile through your scars and say, yes, Lord, I did. And I would do it all again, because through my breaking, you were revealed. So keep walking even when it hurts. Keep believing even when you can't see. Keep loving even when love costs you everything. You were broken for a reason. You were crushed so that compassion could live in you. You were shattered so that heaven could be heard through your cracks. The oil that flows through you now is not for your glory, it's for His. Let it pour, let it heal, let it flow. And when the night tries to whisper that you are too broken, too late, too lost, reminded of this truth: broken does not mean useless. It means chosen. It means refined. It means trusted. God trusted you enough to let you feel pain that would have crushed others, because He knew you would rise from it carrying revelation. You were not destroyed. You were designed. And your design includes divine cracks where glory seeps through. Chosen one, you are the vessel through which heaven flows. Your story, your scars, your silence, your strength, it all matters. It all speaks. So don't hide the evidence of where you've been. Let others see the oil that drips from your experience. Let them touch your wounds and feel the warmth of grace. Let them see that God still uses the broken, not because of their perfection, but because of their surrender. You have been refined by fire and anointed by tears. You are the song of endurance, the sermon of survival, the poetry of divine pain. The world needs what flows through you, so stand tall, chosen one. Walk boldly. Speak with the authority of one who has wrestled with God and lived to tell the story. You are not broken anymore. You are blessed beyond measure. And when you wake tomorrow, remind yourself that your scars are proof of your purpose. Your pain was preparation. Your story is sacred. You carry heaven's oil. So wherever you go, let your presence heal rooms, let your words comfort souls, and let your light remind the weary that even broken things can still shine bright enough to guide others home. You were broken so God could pour His oil through you. Now, let it flow. There will come a time, chosen one, when you will look back on the pieces of your life, the shattered dreams, the unanswered prayers, the long nights of silence, and you will weep again. But this time not from pain but from understanding. You will finally see that every heartbreak had holy fingerprints on it. You will recognize that even the things that wounded you were actually guiding you, molding you, preparing you for something you could not yet imagine. You will see that the breaking was the birthplace of your becoming, that every no you heard from heaven was really a sacred redirection, steering you away from what could never contain the fullness of your purpose. What once felt like loss will reveal itself as love, divine love, the kind that disciplines, refines, and ultimately restores what was always yours. Because, chosen one, the breaking did not take from you, it revealed you. It peeled back everything false, everything borrowed, everything temporary, until only truth remained. The truth of who you are. The truth of who God is within you. And when the oil began to flow, it did not come through the perfect, polished parts of your life. It came through the cracks. That's where the glory entered. That's where heaven touched earth. That's where your pain met His purpose. And though you once begged for the breaking to end, you now understand that it was the only way the oil could ever reach you. You see, when God anoints someone, He does not choose the flawless. He chooses the faithful. He does not select those who have it all together. He calls those who have fallen apart and still whisper His name. You are that whisper. You are the quiet yes that defied despair. You are the prayer that refused to die. And because of that, you are dangerous to darkness. You are unstoppable in the spirit. You are a vessel that hell cannot break, because heaven has already claimed you. There were times you wondered why life felt heavier for you than for others, why you felt every emotion so deeply, why every disappointment cut so sharply. It is because your soul was designed to carry weight. You were not made to skim the surface of existence. You were created to dive into the depths of it. Your sensitivity is not a weakness. It is your anointing in disguise. It allows you to perceive what others ignore, to feel what others numb, to love beyond the limits of logic. That is the mark of the chosen: to feel deeply, to see clearly, and to love endlessly even when it hurts. The breaking taught you empathy. It taught you how to stand in the fire and still offer warmth. It taught you to see pain not as punishment but as preparation. When you were left alone, it was not abandonment, it was alignment. God was isolating you so He could anoint you in private. The oil that now runs through your spirit was refined in solitude. You cried where no one could see, but heaven took notes. And now, when you speak, your words carry the weight of those unseen tears. When you walk into a room, your presence calms storms you cannot even hear, because you've already survived tempests that tried to drown you. That's why people are drawn to you, even when they don't understand why. They feel the oil, the peace, the strength that has been birthed in you. They feel the evidence of a God who has held you through hell and brought you out shining. You are not ordinary light. You are light that has learned to glow even in the dark. You are the kind of soul that illuminates others not by preaching, but by simply being. Because you have lived through what they fear. You have found grace in places they thought grace could not reach. And yet, chosen one, I know there are days you still feel the ache. Healing does not mean the absence of pain. It means the transformation of it. The oil you carry does not erase your scars, it sanctifies them. Every mark on your heart tells a story of survival. Every wound turned into wisdom is a sermon only you can preach. There are people in this world waiting for the sound of your story because it will set them free. They don't need a polished version of perfection. They need your truth. They need to know that brokenness can still bloom, that pain can still prophesy, that weakness can still win when God is within. So don't hide your scars. Let them speak. Let them testify of the God who took what was meant to destroy you and turned it into divine design. Let them show others that even when life breaks you, it cannot take the oil from your soul. You are the living example that resurrection is real, not just on the third day, but every day you choose to rise again. Do not be afraid of being different. The chosen are always set apart. They are not meant to blend in, because their presence carries heaven's fingerprint. You were designed to walk through things others cannot handle, to carry burdens others cannot bear, and to shine in darkness others cannot see through. It is not arrogance. It is assignment. God trusted you with trials because He knew you would turn them into testimonies. He trusted you with sorrow because He knew you would turn it into song. He trusted you with isolation because He knew you would emerge with insight. That is the mystery of the chosen. You are both crushed and crowned at the same time. There will be seasons when the world misunderstands your silence, mislabels your process, and mocks your faith. But remember, they did not hear what God told you in private. They did not see what He showed you in the dark. They cannot comprehend what your breaking built inside you. So bless them and move forward. Keep your heart pure, your eyes lifted, and your oil flowing. Because the moment you stop defending yourself and start depending on Him, you step into a peace that surpasses explanation. You are stepping into that peace now. The kind that doesn't deny the storm, but stands unshaken within it. The kind that whispers, even here God is with me. That is what the breaking taught you. That God is not found only in answered prayers, but also in unanswered ones. He is not present only in joy, but also in sorrow. He is not revealed only in triumph, but also in tears. He is the God of the broken and the whole, of the lost and the found, of the silence and the song. Chosen one, your oil is not just for you. It is for the world. The same pain that once made you question your worth will become the balm that heals others. The same loneliness that once haunted you will become the language through which you comfort souls who think they are alone. The same tears that once blinded you will become rivers of wisdom that refresh dry hearts. That is how God works. He transforms misery into ministry, agony into anointing, and wounds into wells of living water. So pour, chosen one. Pour even when you feel empty. Pour even when you think no one notices. Every act of kindness, every prayer whispered for someone else, every moment you choose love over bitterness, you are pouring the oil, and heaven sees it all. The more you pour, the more He fills you. That is the paradox of divine oil. It multiplies through motion. It never runs dry when it is shared. So keep giving, keep loving, keep shining, because the world needs what flows through you. There is a fragrance to your life now, a scent of endurance, of faith, of holiness. It is the aroma of someone who has walked through the fire and come out fragrant instead of burned. That fragrance is the evidence of God's touch. And when people come near you, they won't just hear your words. They will feel your peace. They will sense that they are standing near someone who has been with God. You will not need to prove yourself, because the oil will speak. It will flow through your presence, through your words, through your very being. And one day, when you least expect it, you will realize that the breaking you once resented became the blessing you now treasure. You will see that everything had to happen exactly as it did, not to destroy you, but to deliver you into your destiny. The places where you bled are the same places where the oil now flows. The nights you cried are the same nights heaven whispered your name. You were never forgotten, never forsaken. You were simply being formed for a greater purpose. So stand tall in your truth, stand firm in your faith. Let the oil flow freely from your life. You are not a victim of your past. You are the vessel of its transformation. You are not the sum of what you lost. You are the evidence of what God can restore. Every scar is sacred. Every lesson is light. Every tear is oil. And you, chosen one, are a living miracle of divine restoration. The world will try to understand you, but they won't be able to. Because your story doesn't make sense without God. The magnitude of your peace after such pain, the strength in your gentleness, the hope in your silence, it all points back to Him. You are walking evidence that grace is real. You are proof that broken things can still be beautiful. You are a reminder that nothing is wasted in the hands of God. And when you feel the weight again, when life tests your faith once more, remember, the same God who brought you through before will do it again. The oil does not run out. The anointing does not expire. You have already been pressed, refined, and chosen. There is nothing left to fear. Even when the road bends and you cannot see the way, trust that the oil knows where to flow. So lift your head, beloved. Let the light in your eyes remind the darkness that it never won. Let your laughter echo through the places that once silenced you. Let your kindness confuse those who expected your bitterness. You are not who you used to be. You are who God always intended you to become. A carrier of His oil, a messenger of His mercy, a reflection of His endless love. Chosen one, you were broken so that heaven could pour through you. You were wounded so that others could find healing in your words. You were emptied so that divine fullness could dwell within you. Do not fear the cracks. They are sacred channels through which the oil will forever flow. Wherever you go, grace will follow. Whatever you touch, peace will bloom. Whomever you speak to, hope will awaken. Because the breaking did not end you, it anointed you. And now the world will know your story not by the sound of your pain, but by the fragrance of your oil. Let it pour, let it heal, let it flow, forever. There will always be a softness that lingers in the soul of the broken ones. It's a softness that the world may mistake for weakness, but heaven knows it as wisdom. It's the kind of softness that can only come from being stripped bare and still choosing love. You, chosen one, have become that softness in a hardened world. The very breaking that once made you fragile has now made you fierce in spirit and gentle in heart. You are not the same person who entered the fire. You have come out glowing with a light that cannot be taught, only forged. You have learned the holy art of surrender, and through it, you've discovered that surrender is not defeat, it is divine strategy. When you laid your life in God's hands, He took your broken pieces and turned them into something eternal. You are the living evidence that what breaks you will also bless you, if you let God do the mending. The journey you have walked is not something everyone will understand. Some will question your strength, others will envy your peace. But let them look and wonder. For they see only the oil, they never saw the pressing. They admire your wisdom but never witnessed your weeping. They applaud your composure but never heard the cries that birthed it. And that's all right, beloved, because this oil was never meant for their understanding. It was meant for their healing. The very fragrance of your faith will reach those who need it most. You will not even have to speak. The oil will do the talking. Your very existence will whisper, I made it. You can too. You are a mirror for others now, showing them what resilience looks like when touched by grace. You are the walking reminder that suffering does not have the final word, that pain can be holy when surrendered to divine purpose. People will come to you broken, confused, aching for something they cannot name, and you will know exactly what to do. You will hold space for them the way heaven held space for you. You will not fix them. You will love them through their breaking. And in doing so, your oil will multiply again. For oil multiplies when it is poured. Every time you comfort another heart, your own healing deepens. Every time you share your truth, your own spirit expands. The flow never ends because God's supply never ends. And when you wake up on those quiet mornings, when the sun slips through the curtains and brushes your face, you will realize that peace no longer feels like a stranger. It feels like home. You will sit there in the stillness and remember who you were before the storm, and who you became because of it. And you will smile because you will finally understand that the breaking was not a curse. It was a covenant. God promised to use your pain as a passageway to purpose, and He kept His word. The cracks that once embarrassed you are now evidence of your anointing. The tears that once weakened you have now washed your vision clear. You see differently now, not with fear but with faith. You no longer chase what left you. Blessed for teaching you how to stand. The chosen are always transformed through fire, because fire purifies what the world cannot polish. You have been through that refining flame, and now your life glows with the quiet brilliance of one who has met both pain and peace and made peace with both. There is a sacred rhythm to your soul now. You have learned that divine timing is not late, that unanswered prayers are often redirections, and that silence is sometimes the sound of God working on something greater than you can imagine. You have learned to stop asking, "Why me?" and start whispering, "Use me." Because you have realized that every trial was a tool, every loss was a lesson, every ending was an invitation to a new beginning. You are being sent now into the world as a vessel of restoration. The oil within you is not meant to be hoarded, it's meant to heal. There will be people drawn to your light, broken by their own stories, searching for a glimmer of grace. Let them come. You won't need perfect words or practice prayers, your presence will be enough. The peace in your eyes will speak louder than any sermon. The kindness in your tone will do what 1,000 lectures cannot. Because you, chosen one, carry a love that has been tested by time and tempered by pain. You carry God's oil in its purest form, the oil of understanding. The world has enough perfection, what it needs is authenticity. And that is what your breaking gave you, the courage to be real. You no longer wear masks to fit into places you've outgrown. You no longer apologize for the fire that refined you. You no longer shrink your spirit to comfort small minds. Because now you know who you are, a divine vessel of endurance, shaped by grace, sustained by mercy, and filled with light. You no longer fear being seen in your entirety. The scars, the softness, the strength, because you finally understand they are all sacred. Nothing in you is wasted. Nothing in you is accidental. Every inch of your journey has meaning. Even the moments you thought were failures were really just foundations being laid for something larger than life. Every tear you shed watered the soil for someone else's breakthrough. You became a living well, overflowing with the wisdom that only pain can teach. That's the hidden beauty of the chosen. You don't rise alone. When you rise, others rise with you. When you heal, others find hope through you. When you speak, hearts awaken. That is why your breaking had to be so deep. Because your calling is to reach deep places in others. You had to know the language of pain so you could translate it into healing for those who don't yet have the words. You have now become the kind of person who walks into a room and shifts the atmosphere without effort. Not because of anything you do, but because of what you've endured. The oil in you carries a fragrance of peace that silences chaos. You don't argue anymore, you discern. You don't chase anymore, you attract. You don't explain anymore, you simply exist in the truth of who you are. And that truth carries power, power that humbles the proud, heals the weary, and comforts the lost. You are not trying to prove anything anymore, because the oil has already spoken on your behalf. And there is still more ahead. The same God who broke you to bless you will continue to stretch you to strengthen you. Growth does not end with the breaking, it begins there. You will still face challenges, still encounter storms, but you will face them differently now. You will no longer see obstacles as punishments, but as portals to deeper grace. You will no longer run from discomfort, because you have learned that discomfort is where divine revelation dwells. You will walk through your days with a quiet assurance that no matter what happens, the oil will carry you through. And when others ask how you keep your peace in the midst of chaos, you will smile softly and say, "Because I was broken once and I found God in the pieces." You will tell them that the same God who met you in the dark still meets you in the light. You will remind them that the oil does not come from ease but from endurance. You will show them that holiness does not mean being untouched by pain, it means being transformed by it. And in your eyes, they will see that truth. You are a living miracle. You are what happens when faith refuses to die. You are what grace looks like wearing human skin. You are what hope sounds like after heartbreak. And no matter how much time passes, no matter how many seasons shift, your oil will never lose its fragrance, because it was not poured by man, it was pressed by God. So, chosen one, continue walking in the rhythm of your redemption. Let your steps be steady and your spirit open. Keep loving, keep serving, keep shining. Because your life now carries a power that heals without words, teaches without preaching, and leads without force. You are not broken anymore. You are blessed beyond recognition. You are the vessel through which heaven still speaks. The same God who allowed your breaking is still writing beauty into your becoming. You are the poem he reads aloud to the world when he wants to remind it that pain does not have the final say. And so, as you move forward, never forget this truth: the cracks in your soul were never flaws, they were doors. Doors through which light could enter, doors through which oil could flow, doors through which others could find their way home. You are no longer defined by what you lost. You are defined by what you found in the loss: God's unshakable presence, His unbreakable promise, His unending love. You were broken so the oil could flow, and now that it does, let it never stop. Let it pour over every life you touch, let it anoint every space you step into, and let it remind you every day that what once hurt you has now become your holy offering. You are chosen, beloved, and your breaking was never the end. It was only the beginning of your anointing. And when the chosen one finally begins to see the pattern of God's hand, there is a quiet surrender that fills the heart. Not the surrender of defeat, but of divine understanding. It's the moment you realize that the pain wasn't random, that the betrayal wasn't meaningless, that the nights you spent weeping until your pillow soaked through were not wasted seasons of despair, but sacred baptisms of becoming. You start to see that every person who left was pushed out by the hand of heaven, every door that closed was sealed by divine mercy, and every heartbreak was a breaking open, not of destruction, but of expansion. Because God was not trying to take something from you. He was trying to make room for something far greater, something that could only flow through a vessel that had been cracked wide open by truth. You see, oil doesn't flow from a stone that stays whole. It must be crushed, pressed, broken open, and yielded to the weight of God's purpose. And so must you. There were times you asked, "Why me, God? Why did you allow this?" And yet He was whispering, "Because I saw what I placed in you. I saw strength you didn't know you had. I saw a light the world needed to see. I saw love that could heal nations. I saw purpose that could only rise from ashes." The chosen are not chosen because they are the strongest or the wisest or the most perfect. They are chosen because they are willing to be broken and still believe. Because in that breaking, the fragrance of